Republican versus Democratic. Republican versus Democratic. Now, I need for us to understand where the term republic came from and where the term democratic comes from. Those people who study, and especially my students and my members, anybody who's watched our sessions and has any knowledge about what's going on, you know that when we're talking about republic, we're talking about reserving your God-given rights. Republic deals with reserving your God-given rights. So what are we saying? When we're dealing in the republic, and my people know who are operating as sovereigns and we're walking in the private. The republic is where you are standing or upholding the rights given to you by God, some of which include your right to protect yourself, your right to have arms, your rights to travel this planet without governmental documentation, your rights to even create money or create any kind of ability to have currency. You have those rights. And so when you're understanding what the republic is, then you will want to stand in the republic that's going to always protect your God-given rights. What is a democracy? A democracy is an organization, aka country, that is mob ruled. What does that mean? That means that the majority vote is what determines whatever the so-called rules are of that organization. Well, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with a democracy is that the fewer in number do not get heard. And the other problem is that the masses tend to be highly ignorant. And I mean highly. Instead of coming together and creating a policy that works to the benefit of everybody, a democracy is going to listen to the loud mouths who are clearly ignorant and then go with what they say as opposed to the thing that works for everybody. That's the problem with the democracy. And so democracies end in chaos. If you don't think this is chaos, what we're in right now, I don't know what you're living in. Democracies end in chaos. And the thing about it is that in a democracy, your rights are not protected. You don't have any rights in a democracy if the majority of ignorant people decide, well, no, it needs to be this way, even though it's harmful to the society at large. Well, the democracy doesn't care about that. Democracy is only concerned with, well, these people over here said that they want it, even though these people over here, they're ignorant, they haven't studied anything. They haven't taken the time to really digest and understand the ramifications of what their choice is. Yeah, that's your democracy versus a republic that is always going to protect your God-given rights at all costs. Okay, so now we're understanding. So I'm trying to break this down to make it clear, to help you understand where we came from and why when we switch these terms, now they've made democracy out to be some kind of glamorous thing. Oh, it's democratic, it's the democracy, when it's the exact opposite. And because we don't have a clue of the things that we're supporting, you damn yourself because I want it to be democratic. Okay, let me continue. Because originally, the republic was where your melanated people stood. Because we knew that we stood with God. I'm going to say this again. Originally, it was the republic where the melanated people stood because we knew we stood with God. Oh, wait a minute. But we be voting Democratic all of this, Democrat, and we the Democratic Party. Let me give you a clue about what happened in history. Pay attention and take notes. So, originally, as I told you, the so-called white people that would come in here were melanated. And they were owners of land. Most of them were royalty from places like Britain and Morocco and Morocco, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, places like that. Because they were sailors and they came over into the land. All right. So they came into the land and they were respecting the republic because they knew what republic meant. So as these melanated people, these Moors, they started to lose their power because they started to lose knowledge. They stopped educating their melanated people. And then they started educating the Albanians because, look, when we're talking about Moors, they were sexing everything that moved. They were more so sleeping with the Albion women that they brought in as slaves. Look up Moorish concubines, all right? Look up Moorish bathhouses and understand they started to educate their Albion offspring and not their melanated offspring. Pay attention, because I don't want it to be said and thought that all this is because the Albion, what the Albion did to the melanated people. Let's be clear, because y'all want to be talking about, oh, the Europeans came over here and they did, the original Europeans were melanated people. Your Moors of Morocco and Tunis and Algiers. Why do you think they got this term Indo-European? Why do you think they got that? Because that was referring to the Albions, because they once again switched terms. And so now y'all have dropped the Indo, and the only thing y'all know is European, and y'all want to apply that to Albions when original Europeans were melanated. Watch out. You this close. You this close, watch out. Say something with intelligence, because we're intelligent in this land. In this land. And if I'm offending you because you're light-skinned, this is not meant to offend you. I'm telling you the facts. So stay tuned and be intelligent and don't knee-jerk in my room. Levita says, can I suggest books to read? I suggest topics for you to look up, Levita, because there's not a book that I have found that I have a true respect for, that everything in it is on point. So when I give you topics, I'm giving you topics to look up, because you need to look up the topics and then you can find several different sources based on that topic. So when I tell you Moorish bathhouses, when I tell you to look up Moorish, any kind of Moorish who were coming in the land, here's another thing that I want you to look up. Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, and any kind of Barbary Treaty companies, look that up. Because I need you to look up the topics, because that's going to lead you to more information. I don't want you to just read books that I suggest to you. I need you to do research, because a lot of these books just do not tell the full truth, okay? So we're understanding that there's the republic and then there's the democracy, all right? The democracy is based on mob rule. Mob rule is always going to end up in chaos. All right, this is where your rights are not protected. If you are in the minority of people, then you're going to not be heard. All right, and so your rights therefore are not protected.